Some high school introduction to nutrition. This is gonna kind of be your, our introduction on just basic nutrition stuff. We're gonna dive into some stuff deeper, but we're gonna touch on why nutrition is important, what you need for it, some key aspects for, having a good balanced diet, what goes into having good nutrition, all the benefits and ways you can apply it into your life. So we're gonna go through a lot of activities. So right off the start, I just want to know what are some of our favorite foods going for? I mean, personally, I'm a big pizza guy. Comes a lot of food groups, but I know it's not always the most healthy thing. Favorite foods?
McChickens.
McChickens?
I had it on my side.
Yeah.
I like sushi.
Sushi.
That's
Sushi's
one of
really
my
good.
faves.
Sushi's good. Fish is really healthy for you. It's really good. So, but obviously, all foods, some taste better than others. Some are better for you than others. Any food in moderation can be okay, but it's really about knowing what you're eating, what parts are in the foods, and we're going to kind of talk about that more. So, right off the bat, why is nutrition important? One of the key things, proper nutrition helps fuel your bodies. You need energy to do stuff. Obviously, all the food you eat, the water you drink, the things you consume, those are turned into energy for you to do stuff later. If I'm at the gym working out, it's the spaghetti I had the night before that's helping fuel my workout, stuff like that. It's really important for you to put good food into your body. The better you fuel your body, the better your performance is going to be if you're doing athletics, things like that. Same as like mental focus. As you can see on here, down here, improve mood, energy, cognitive functions. Food also really helps with your mental functions, with your mood, what you're able to do, helps stabilize things like that. If you're eating really good food, you're gonna have a lot more consistent, energy, mood levels. You're gonna be able to think a lot better, have a lot more clarity in your brain. If you're eating all over the place, eating a lot of junk food, it's really hard to perform well. Our immune system, I'm sure you guys hear a lot, vitamin C, really important for helping off infection. We just kind of got out of the cold and flu season, but a lot of people were trying to eat good during that time to get stuff, but I know personally, whenever I eat a lot of junk food for a while, I'll get sick and you don't feel good. Eating healthy foods, eating proper foods, they support your body, support your immune system, helps you fight off disease and infection. Promoting growth and development. We'll touch on it later, but eating the right macronutrients can really help support growth of muscles, growth of bones. As you grow and develop as a kid, you'll see in a lot of third world countries, things like that, where they have a lot of food insecurity. Kids are growing up with a lot of diseases. They're not growing properly. They're getting super sick. They're just not growing well, and that's because they don't have the food available to them to give them proper nutrition, give them all the nutrients that they need to grow strong. Preventing chronic disease, kind of touched on that earlier. The better you eat, the more energy you have to be active, and the more support your body will feel, the healthier you'll feel, and you can fight off things like disease and infection through eating well. And maintaining weight, that's another big thing. Along with, you can eat healthy food, but if you're eating a ton of even if you're eating a ton of healthy food and you're overeating, you're still gonna gain weight. Same as even if you're eating healthy and good food, but you're not eating enough, you're gonna lose weight. There's gonna be a good balance in maintaining weight. I know, lifting and fitness and bodybuilding and stuff like that has become really popular in today's social media. And so you hear about people bulking and cutting and things like that. And a lot of that goes in with how much you're eating, what kinds of food you're eating. If you're eating a lot to gain weight, you're gonna go over your calorie numbers, same as under. And that can obviously be impacted by how big or how little someone is gonna change how much they eat, how much activity they do in a day, things like that. Those kind of all play in. And then I already touched on improved mood, energy, cognitive functions. So right away, I want to touch on the big three today, macronutrients. So our three big macronutrients are carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. Starting off, carbohydrates, these are a primary energy source. I know you hear a lot of fad diets that say cut out all carbs, all bread's bad for you. That's not true. Carbs are the main source of fuel that your body uses to produce energy. And if you cut out all carbs, it has to get that energy from somewhere else, whether that be fats or proteins. And to do that, you need to eat a ton of fats and a ton of proteins to be able to maintain energy levels without eating carbs. And usually, if you cut out carbs for a while, the very first carb that you eat gets stored in your body as fat. Our humans, unfortunately, we've evolved over time, where back when our caveman ancestors, when we were eating, they didn't have vending machines, they didn't have fast food restaurants, so whatever they ate, their body stored as fat or as muscle, and they would keep it for energy for later. Whereas now, when we can drive to McDonald's and get food whenever we want, we don't need to store the extra calories, but our body still does because it hasn't adapted to know that we don't need all that extra food yet. So that's why it's really important to monitor what you eat, as we touched on earlier. But anyways, back to carbohydrates. Like I said, primary energy source. They fuel a lot of stuff. As you see up there, it says the brain and nervous system. They rely a lot on carbs for providing energy. Fiber is essential for digestive health. You hear a lot of like eating, fiber bars or fiber to really help you with your digestion and your gut health. Also regulating blood sugar and cholesterol levels. These are super big problems now and today. As you all know, I'm sure America is the most obese country by a lot. We're seeing higher levels of obesity in children and in teens, and as those numbers continue to go up, having knowledge about having a balanced diet can really help you in battling that. Supporting brain functions, glucose, as you see up there, simple carbohydrate. We'll talk a little bit about simple and complex carbs in a minute, but simple carbohydrate, main energy source for the brain. Like you see up there, helps with concentration, memory, things like that. One thing with carbs, a lot of times if you need a quick burst of energy, people will eat things like sugar. Sugar's a carb, you'll get a quick burst of energy from eating something that's high in carbohydrates, but you will also crash if you eat too much of that. That's why, eating a bunch of candy is not good for you, drinking a bunch of soda, it's gonna spike your blood sugar and the sugar levels in your body. You're gonna get a huge rush of energy, and then you're gonna crash later and feel super drowsy and lethargic. Moving on to proteins. Proteins are super essential. These are kind of building blocks. They help repair, help build your body. As I mentioned earlier, in like weightlifting and bodybuilding, exercise culture now, you hear protein's a super important thing. They always talk about hitting their protein goals. You want to eat a lot of protein if you're going to be, working out and trying to build muscle. If you're an athlete engaging in activity, protein's really helpful for you. As you see there, like I said, repairing tissues, building muscles, organs, skin, hair, nails, all of it. It all comes from protein. Protein helps build up all these things. Enzymes and hormones. Protein's really really essential for producing enzymes, and these enzymes kind of interact with each other to create chemical reactions that produce our hormones. So if you're not eating good protein, you're going to have hormone imbalances, which can lead to mood changes, cognitive decline, things like that. You're just not going to have any energy and not have the ability to do a lot of things, which again goes back to the idea of having a super balanced diet can really help you be super productive in whatever you're trying to do. Immune function, antibodies. Antibodies are found in our bodies. They help fight off infections, things like that. And proteins are really important in helping produce antibodies and keeping your body safe. Like you saw on the last slide too, fighting off infection, fighting off chronic disease, things like that. Protein helps you feel fuller longer, which is a really good thing too, like it said, for weight management. If you're eating, again, I'll touch on simple and complex carbs in a bit in our video, but if you're gonna eat 5 Snicker bars, it's a ton of calories, but you're not gonna feel full. Whereas if you eat the same amount of calories in chicken breast, you're eating a lot of chicken and you're gonna feel really, really full off that, and you're gonna feel fuller longer, which again, as you see there, again, it helps with weight management, maintaining a consistent weight, helping with a balanced diet. Moving on to fats. Fats are good for energy storage. They provide more calories per gram than carbohydrates and protein do. So that's why our bodies store a lot of food left over as body fat, because body fat can be burned and give us more energy later on as we go. Fats are super helpful for helping us absorb vitamins into our body. There's different, we'll touch on it in the video, but fats can be absorbed through either water or protein in the body. Cell structure, fats help, come with the cell membrane, provide cell structure for us, building blocks, everything. Like I said, it breaks down. All the food breaks down to the lower levels. Organ protection, a little bit of body fat is super helpful still. You'll see a lot of, super athletic individuals, professional athletes. Low body fat percentage is helpful for, maximizing their strength and their appearance and bodybuilding and stuff like that, but you don't want to go super low on body fat because you're losing protection for your organs, from, whether it be being hit by something, like if you're in a fight with someone or something like that, or just protecting your organs from, hitting each other, hitting the bones, things like that. Fats also help. They provide fatty acids, omega-3, omega-6. Omega-3s are really found really heavily in fish and seafood, things like that. But these are fatty acids the body can't produce on its own, and so you need to consume fats to be able to get these into your system, and these help with all sorts of things like heart health, brain health, inflammation, things like that. So to kind of touch on the big 3 a little more, I have a video here. Due to technical difficulties, the video will not pop up. The sound won't work on here, so I have the video for you guys here on the small computer with the sound. You just want to hit play at the same time I do. And we have this one. Ready?
Hello and welcome to our video on the importance of macronutrients in your diet. In this video, we'll be discussing the 3 macronutrients that are essential to your health, how much of each you need, and the best sources of these nutrients. Macronutrients are the building blocks of a healthy diet. They provide us with energy, help us build and repair tissues, and support vital bodily functions. The three main macronutrients are carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. Carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are the body's primary source of energy. They come in two forms, simple and complex. Simple carbs, like those found in sugar and candy, provide a quick burst of energy but can cause blood sugar spikes and crashes. Complex carbs, like those found in whole grains and vegetables, provide sustained energy and are also rich in vitamins, minerals, and fiber. Aim for 45 to 65% of your daily calories from carbs. Proteins. Proteins are essential for building and repairing tissues, such as muscle and bone. They also play a role in maintaining a healthy immune system and making hormones and enzymes. Good sources of protein include lean meats, poultry, fish, beans, and nuts. Aim for 10 to 35% of your daily calories from protein. Fats. Fats are necessary for the absorption of fat-soluble vitamins, hormone production, and providing insulation for our organs. Good sources of healthy fats include avocados, nuts, seeds, olive oil, and fatty fish. Aim for 20 to 35% of your daily calories from fats. So, there you have it, the three macronutrients and why they're important. Remember, a balanced diet that includes carbohydrates, proteins, and fats in the right proportions is essential for overall health and well-being.
Alrighty, so as you saw in the video there, again, that touched on the importance of balancing all the macronutrients, how they kind of work with each other to create a healthy diet and a balanced diet. I know I have the numbers on there for what percent of your daily intake should be which of the three macronutrients. That is a good rule of thumb to follow, but again, as I mentioned earlier, every individual is going to have different dietary needs and dietary restrictions, so it's really up to you figuring out what works best for you and helps you maintain the best body and feeling the best, feeling the most full. Obviously, if you ever have questions, it would be smart to go to your doctor. They can help you a lot more. If you're trying to gain muscle, trying to grow in size, it would be good to maybe include more protein in your diet and less carbohydrates. If you're trying to lose weight, obviously all factors play into each other with those. But really to kind of wrap it all up, I think it's important to make smart choices in your diet and do all that together. Prioritizing whole unprocessed foods, fruits, vegetables, whole grains, lean proteins. These are really important in maintaining a balanced diet. I know me personally, when I go shopping and when I'm cooking dinner, things like that, I try to do what I call low ingredient meals. That means if I'm buying something, I want there to be 6, 7 ingredients in the food that I'm eating that I know what it is. If you look at a box of Cheez-Its or something and you read all the ingredients on the back, there's probably 13 things on there that you can't even pronounce. Whereas if I'm eating dinner and I know I'm having a chicken breast, I'm having some potatoes, and I'm having some broccoli, it's those 3 ingredients. Maybe I'm cooking it in some oil, and maybe I'm putting a little bit of salt on top. If I know that I'm limiting it to that, and I know what I'm eating, it really helps me kind of track my food a little more. Reading food labels, as I touched on just a second ago, check serving sizes. It's really easy to overeat, especially on fast processed foods. Things like chips and crackers and cookies and things like that, you can go super overboard on those. Check the labels. It's usually only a little bit, and we wind up way overeating. Even on good foods too, like peanut butter. A serving size of peanut butter is about 2 tablespoons. I know even me personally, whenever I go for peanut butter, I'm getting up there to like maybe half a cup of peanut butter with whatever I'm eating. So it's really important to monitor that and keep track of that. Like I said, limiting processed foods and sugary drinks. We live in a day and age now with technology where, like I said, it is super helpful that we have, it sucks that we have vending machines and everything available because our body hasn't adapted to know that we have food readily available. But at the same time, we also have a lot more food options that can kind of mimic some of these things. We have soda alternatives that are no sugar, that are healthier options, things like that. Controlling your portions, like I said, read food labels, watch how much you eat. Really easy to go overboard on that. Balancing your plate, include all those things. make adjustments to your plate right now for what you already eat. One easy way to do this is make a food log. Track the foods that you're eating on a day-to-day basis and figure out which food category they fall into. And then if you see that you're too far in one category or the other, it can be really easy to kind of switch and take things out and move them over. Replacing your foods with things. I know it's a lot easier to cook, but white rice, brown rice is a lot healthier than white rice, has a lot more health benefits for you. And just because it takes a little bit longer to cook, a lot of people steer away from that. Just making substitutions when possible for your diet. Staying hydrated, drink a ton of water. I know personally, I am still trying to get good about drinking enough water throughout the day. They say half your body weight in fluid ounces is a good rule of thumb for water. I'm sure many of us don't even get near that in a daily context, and drinking enough water is super helpful for helping you do that. Cooking at home gives you control of the ingredients. Like I said, simple ingredient foods, low ingredient numbers. If you go out to eat, you have no idea what they're putting in your food. If you cook at home, you know what's going into it, you know what you're putting into your body. Planning meals and snacks. Meal planning has become super popular. There's many easy ways to meal plan. Cook a big batch of something early in the week, store it for yourself later, freeze it. You can cook it all later and eat it again later in the week, and it's the same meal. And it honestly, I've done it in the past, and it takes a lot of time and stress out of wondering what you're gonna eat, when you're gonna eat, having to worry about all that. Enjoying treats in moderation. Everyone's human. I'm not telling you to never touch a cookie again or never eat an Oreo, but if you're gonna do it within reason. Make sure you're not going super overboard on your daily calorie intake, and you're doing it in a healthy manner. And listening to your body. Eat when you're hungry. Don't starve yourself just because you're trying to lose weight or stay below your calorie number. That's one thing that can get dangerous with tracking food and tracking calories is a lot of people will not eat what they need to stay below their calorie number. But listen to your body. When you're full, you don't need to keep eating. Eat slower. Helps you notice when you're full more. Drinking more water again. All these things tie in together for creating a healthy diet and helping you maximize your nutrition choices.